Hey, welcome to Between the Lines, folks. Here we are. It's still May. June's coming. What are we up to? May 15th. It's all right, May 15th. Our 125th show, I understand, in the last 3 years. We're excited. We're getting things done. Our series on energy starts next week. What's the Department of Energy going to do? Where are the cuts going? Where are we going to make things change? Modernizing some of our Manhattan Project stuff, making some cuts. Where do you land? What is happening to your company and the workers around here? They need to feel a little bit better or safer, and everything's going on. We're going to talk to a lot of different people. But we start with Chuck Fleischman in the 8-week series. He was here for week 1, and he take week 2 while he was here. So we got a lot to talk about in that series. But we had Jeff Cole on. We had John Alley on. We have risen our standards dramatically this week. We have Regina Copeland, who is the trustee of Anderson County, and we're going to talk about what a trustee does, talk a little bit more about your tax reappraisals, and we'll dip into Knoxville a little bit, but not too much. Try to have a better understanding of what trustees do and how their budgets work and how they are accountable. You know, some trustees have problems and in different areas, just like anybody, sheriffs, mayors, anybody, and you got to watch your budgets and how they're accountable and what happens. And always in a hot political environment, you always need to have that. But you should be accountable for the taxpayers at all costs, no matter what. So that's really not a major thing. It's not a major problem. Most people do it, but we're going to talk a little about that. Talk about some different things. The top taxpayers. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff that goes on in Anderson County. And welcome. You've been on the show a couple times over the last 3 or 4 years. You were here, was it last year or the year before?
I think it was the year before.
I think 23, that's right. Coles was 23. Everybody. So we're back. We're ready to go. And elections come up again next year?
Yes.
And I can say this because I'm in the business, but Regina's one of the most popular county officials we have, very active in the community, does a lot of good for people. And speaking of that, we have our second annual food drive coming up. Last week, we set it for the last Wednesday in June every year to help the food pantry, and you've always been very generous, and others have too. We all try to chip in. When you can get 15 or 20 elected officials to donate some food or stuff, that's a pretty good day.
That's good. Yes, it
is.
Is.
Elected officials. They're busy.
Yes.
They're busy.
Yes.
All right. You've been the trustee for almost 8 years, 7 years?
Yes, since 2018. I took office September 1st, 2018.
Tell us a little bit about you. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Anderson County in Clinton. We lived. I went to both Clinton High School and Anderson County High School. So, but
what's your maiden name, Regina?
Carol.
Okay, like so everybody else. You're a Phillips or a Carol, right? Okay.
Right. Okay. Actually, my grandmother was a Phillips.
I see. I told you. Married to one, I understand.
Yes. So I lived in Anderson County all my life.
That's fantastic. Just tell us a little bit. Where'd you go to elementary school? What neighborhood?
I went to a few. Yeah, I went to a few. I went to South Clinton Elementary School.
You had to find one to keep you.
That's right. That's right. I talk too much. Imagine that.
I know a lot of people that went to South Clinton. It's kind of a good school. I think
it was. It was. I went to South Clinton for a little while and went to Andersonville Elementary School, went to Norris Middle School, then went to Clinton Middle School, then went to Clinton High School for a little while, but then I graduated from Anderson County.
And what made you go to so many different schools? Y'all moved?
We moved. Okay. We did. And it was a little tough at the time, but you know, it benefited me later because I knew a whole lot of people all over Anderson County. So.
How many brothers and sisters did you grow up with?
I have one sister. She actually passed away in a car accident.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, several years ago. So
as an adult?
Yes, she was an adult, had 3 kids, so that was my only sibling.
Okay. I bet you've had to play a role in that world, hadn't you? I mean, helping with the kids? And
I have helped a little. My brother-in-law has done a good job, and then my mom, and then his family as well. So
it takes a lot of people to make up for just one mother, doesn't it?
It does.
It's just tough.
It does.
And it's good that they have
but
all
she
that
had
support.
3 wonderful kids.
Okay.
They're doing great.
And your parents?
They're still alive.
Yeah. I know your
still
mama.
doing.
Yeah, I met Mama during the campaign.
Yeah, and Mama worked hard during my campaign. She did.
Yeah, and she always looked at me like all mothers do, and they're going to be like, you better tell me the truth. What's going on?
That's right.
That's how they all are. No matter what county, where you are, mothers always want to know.
That's right. Yeah, she did good. Or I don't know what I would have done.
Wives or husbands will do the same thing. I mean, you look at them and say, we're going to win this thing.
Right.
It's fun.
Her and Keith both worked hard. So.
Oh, they did. They did.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, we've been very fortunate in that situation. Victoria Bowling oh Lord, she worked so hard, and
Yes.
and Dana Forrester worked hard.
Yes.
I find that people that grow up in the county they're just hard workers, and it's a scary thing too. I mean, it's not for me. I do it all the time, but when you tell somebody, it's a big switch. Either you're going to not work or lose a job, or you give up a job to run. So it's there's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it.
You learned that, didn't you?
Yes, and I actually ran for about 18 months because the previous trustee had took another position, and they had named a county commissioner to fill in the gap. So I started actually campaigning and hit the ground running at that time.
Who was that county commissioner? I can't remember.
It was Myron Awansky.
That's right.
Was named to the position.
Guy. He went to all kinds of places, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He was commissioner, and I think he filled in for mayor for a little while, and then he filled in.
Very smart guy. Did a good job.
Yeah, filled in as trustee. So, he was not looking to run for the office, which, as soon as I found out, we were already ready to run, whether Myron did or not. So. Yeah,
I was kidding. I was made jokes about it. He took a different path than his 30 years. 2 here, 4 here, 1 here. But Myron was a very astute TVA. I mean, Myron comes from Wisconsin originally. But
really?
He's a cheesehead. But he's just really, really smart, and they've done a lot. We got a lot of different. Judge Donahue, who used to be in the DA's office, who was elected judge in Bradley, Wisconsin. Wisconsin, Minnesota, that area, those people work hard. They have a good work ethic, and I think it shows. Most of them got down here for some kind of military thing or something, but I don't know. I don't know what Myron, and maybe.
I'm not sure.
I
think he lived in Norris
for years. Yeah,
I think he lived in Norris for a little while, and then him and his wife moved to Oak Ridge.
Okay, so then you get into it. You married Keith?
Yes, met him when I was 15 years old, and we got married. I've been with him for.
I guess I should ask how old he is, but I'm not going to ask. Go ahead.
Well, we've been married for 38 years.
Wow.
So we dated for 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's great.
Before that, so I don't hardly remember life without him.
Well, I'll say 2 things about Keith. He loves his wife. He loves his family. That's one thing. And he loves to go fishing. That's 2 things, right?
And he loves to teach the Word of God.
Oh, he does. He's a very devout man. There's no question about that. Okay. So anyway, so we know who you are a little bit more. Why run for trustee? What did you do before you were trustee?
For 20 years, I was the 911 director for Anderson County. Yes.
Yeah, Mark Lucas time and all those people.
Yes,
right?
I wasn't director the entire time. I started out actually there part-time.
In the bank building.
And then in the bank building, in the Jolly building, and stayed there for 20 years.
You worked under how many sheriffs? 3 or 4?
Yes.
I can go back and count them. I mean, 20 years, you got Scott, and then you got Paul, and you got Bill, and because there's a lot of guys that were in there.
And I actually worked under the 911 board.
Yeah.
The sheriff sat on the board, but
the sheriff was in that building.
Yes, he was.
Shadows everybody else in some ways.
And he was actually over the dispatchers.
Yeah, and that's right. And the 911 center, if I'm not mistaken, was on the same floor up there where the sheriff was.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it still there?
It is.
Okay.
It's as of right now, it's still there. I think they would like to eventually see it, move to another location.
Important things to do. Important. 911, didn't get any more important. And people don't realize that the 911, they do most of the mapping. I mean,
did all of the mapping.
Yeah.
I was there when we started the mapping of Anderson County, which actually benefited me a great deal when I moved over and ran for trustee, because I have driven almost every road in Anderson County, even plumb over into Devonia, Andersonville, deep into Andersonville.
You picked the right career here too, because you go to every road again.
So I was able to carry that knowledge over to the trustee office. Just being familiar with the county.
Yeah, I understand that. And I remember I was there. It's a long time ago, 25 years ago. But I remember there was a lot going on.
A lot going on.
So, what made you say, I'm going to go try to be a trustee?
Well, it was something that I'd kind of looked at for a little while, and they done, like I did the administration part of 911. I didn't answer the phones. I done the banking and done the administration part.
Right.
And
so you were familiar with the books?
I was familiar with the banking side of it and the budgeting and those kinds of things. And I don't know. It was just, I like numbers, and I enjoyed that part of it, and
People too. You like people.
I love people.
And that's all those jobs in the courthouse are about meeting people and talking to them. And
You have to be service oriented. You have to want to be do a service for people.
And I obviously county to county, I'm exposed to a lot of people and different people, and I think that your office, I've always said there's two good jobs in the courthouse. There's just the two best jobs in the courthouse, without question, are the trustee. You collect money, okay, and you got to count it and process it, but it's a little bit different than sending out tax notices and assessing property. The trustee's a good job, and Rex Lynch always said the county executive's a dog catcher manager, so that's, get field calls from everybody. So, but the trustee, and I said, and I like the court job because you give out a license plate, you meet everybody. So it's but to be fair to Jeff, the clerk's job requires a whole lot of record keeping.
It does, and trustee as well.
In those days, license was a big part. Now he's into everything, passports, everything,
Yes,
et cetera, et cetera.
the new driver's license and all those things.
So when you got in there, what was the biggest surprise in the trustee's office?
The biggest surprise.
What was the challenge? What if you look back and you say when you went in there that you didn't expect, or that you
Well,
didn't
I mean, I'll be honest that coming from a non-political job to politics was probably the most stressful. I will say that.
Was it stressful because of the campaigning, or was it stressful once you were the trustee?
I think it was stressful because of the campaigning, but, and there was some other parts of the politics that was stressful.
Does
because
politics
you don't.
impact the average trustee's office in the state, the way you do business? I've run a lot of trustee campaigns. I never got a lot of that.
I don't think the way you do business, no, at all. I think you just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, it's different coming from a non-political job to a political job. But no, it doesn't impact us. It probably impacts you personally more than it does on the job, if that makes any sense.
When you were growing up or as a young adult, did you like politics? Did you like this thing?
No, not necessarily.
That's
I mean, we
attitude.
were, I never really dove into politics as our home wasn't real political.
You didn't help a friend run for something, or didn't get out and do all that stuff? Okay.
No, and I wasn't as a whole lot involved. I was across the street, to the courthouse, and so I heard and seen a lot, but I didn't really get involved in it a whole lot at that point.
That's a smart move. You can keep that up here in good shape. That's the way it works. Now you're not in a position to do that anymore, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Tell me, okay, so the trustee, I mean, obviously I've worked in county government too when I was younger, so you have a budget, you have to do things, you have 5 or 6 employees, I'm just roughly, so you're out there, you're working that, you're getting it done. Take us through a year. What does the trustee office do?
Well, the number one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize, a lot of people think that a trustee collects property taxes, and we do, but that is just a small portion of what we do.
That's a big portion.
Well, yeah, it is a big portion, but it's when you look at all of the other things, it's a big portion, and we do it
just
all year
the sheer
round.
Volume of the money.
But yes, but we do the banking side of it as well. So not only do we collect it, but
in all the campaigns I've run on a trustee level across Tennessee, where you invest your money has always been a campaign issue. Like if you're putting money in banks in North Carolina to save a quarter point, or you're putting it in Oklahoma or somewhere, the question comes in a political environment, why not a Tennessee bank? Why not a local bank? So you're right, that is important.
Yes. So we do all the banking for the county. We maintain the bank accounts and balance those. We move money. The finance department, writes the checks, but we have to make sure that there's money in there that's moved over into the clearing account. So we're continually, every day, in the bank accounts and moving money from, one place to another. You have your regular main account, and then you have what we call a clearing account, which is what the checks come through. So we have to move money like that. If we get to your slower months and, we have a big purchase, we may have to move money from one of our investment accounts, to the main account or to the clearing account to move that money. We have to make sure that all of the funds, do not go in the negative, that those are stayed, that everybody has money that they're spending. So there's a whole lot of...
What is your revenue collections a year from everything?
We are right around... with the sales tax, and the property tax, all of the taxes, we're probably somewhere right around $100 million.
That's what I would have thought.
Yeah.
But your budget in your office is what, $500,000?
No, our budget this year was $800,000.
Okay,
I have
less than 1% of what you collect.
Yeah, I have 8 employees, and then so we have we have fees that is set up by the state, and it's 1% commission that is, taken from money that we handle. So I think this year we turned over to the county. I think we're slated somewhere around $1.8 million is what we'll turn over.
I left 12, 15 years ago, but it was $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 then. Now you're turning 1.8.
Yeah, we're turning over about 1.8.
And that's not the general fund. I mean, that's not all.
That's our commission.
That's your commission.
That's just our commission.
So
and
she's not using it all. She's giving it back to the taxpayers.
Right. Our budget. So what the fees on a fee office is set up to do is to run your office.
That's correct.
Years ago, the trustee and all the fee offices kept those fees, but some time ago, our county commission voted, and I guess I wasn't there at that time, but I guess our fee offices also countywide, I guess, voted that it would be turned over. And we would run off of a budget. So our budget.
Yeah, the old
days
they made their own budgets.
I think they did.
I was there.
And they kept.
As a young person, I can remember them not turning over money. Mm-hmm. I won't say the departments, but well-run departments that didn't turn over money, third, fourth type budgets that didn't turn over money because they didn't want county commission to blow it. I mean, that was their whole strategy. They're not conservative enough, so they would hold back $200,000 or whatever, and they get written up.
You can't do that now.
They can get written up. They don't care.
You can't do that now. It's automatically every month. So when I have a month of commission, it's turned once that I reconcile my books and we reconcile with finance. It's turned over immediately. So every month my commissions are turned over.
Robbie Holbrook does a good job.
Robbie Holbrook does a phenomenal job.
Robbie's been there 30 years, 25, 30 years.
I think actually when I was talking to him this week, I think he just hit his 40th year anniversary.
Of the county?
Yes, I told him, I said, we should have a party or something.
No, we should. I mean, he needs to retire. He's got 40 years on there. That's 60.
Well, he must have started when he was 10.
Yeah, I mean, let's think back. I know he was there in 98.
He's done every job in finance, I think.
30 years he was there. So if he's been there 40, he's been there since, Brenda was there, so he's probably been there since he was 18 or 19. Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you what, my wife, county commissioner, of course, Sabre, they just brag on him. He's so good at what he does.
He does great.
And he was trained by the last one he had, well, Chris is a great guy. Miguel Cook was a machine.
I've heard that.
I've
heard she was phenomenal.
Oh, she is. Still working part-time across the street, but she's great. She's just super.
He's been in there so long, he knows, he knows the history, but he also knows, I think, about every job in there, and Robbie does a great job.
Manager. You can say, look, you don't need to do that, you can do this, et cetera. So let's take a break, and we'll come back and dive a little bit deeper in what trustees do.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
Feeling overwhelmed with your business finances? At P&L Business Services, we handle all your bookkeeping, payroll, and tax needs. From federal tax returns to QuickBooks training, we've got you covered. With over 25 years of experience, we provide customized packages to fit your business. Focus on what you love most, building your business. Let us take care of the rest. Call 865-294-4792. P&L Business Services, empowering you to grow your business.
Prescription drug misuse is a prevalent and potentially fatal problem. When people do not properly monitor, store, and dispose their medications, it can create an opportunity for misuse. Count it. Make it a goal to count your pills once every 2 weeks. Like it. Secure your medications at home. Drop it. Drop off unused or expired medications for proper disposal at any police department in Anderson County. For more info, visit asapofanderson.org. Brought to you by ASAP of Anderson. Prevention works.
If anyone knows the joy of rescuing animals, it's me. Just ask my rescues, who are all very important members of my family. Your life can also be forever changed by adopting a shelter pet. And it's not just about the happiness your pet gets from finding a loving home, but that which you'll get from bringing them into your life. The heroes at American Humane have been helping animals for more than 140 years. You can learn more at AmericanHumane.org.
Fan Gear Barn is Oak Ridge's source for new and vintage sports fan gear from around the world of sports. Find your favorite team gear at Fan Gear Barn, located at 977 Oak Ridge Turnpike, across from the hospital. Open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Closed on Sundays.
Over 14,000 neighbors live in fear of becoming sick or injured and having to make a choice between putting food on the table or seeking medical care. The free medical clinic tries to take that fear away.
Bringing the healthcare, primary care out to our rural communities. I've had patients tell me that if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't be able to have any kind of health care. So us being able to go into these areas and provide that on-site care to these patients that can also come back week to week if they need for follow-up primary care, it is life-changing. It means a world of difference between actually life and death for them.
At Navarro, we partner with our clients to advance clean energy and deliver effective solutions for complex challenges in the nuclear and environmental fields.
Welcome back. We are going to talk again about trustees. We're going to talk about Knoxville near the end of the show and talk to you a little bit about everything you're seeing in the press. We're not going to talk about specifics, obviously. That's another trustee and it's in difference. But why is it an issue when things like transportation and habits, and what do they have to do with the state to file? And we'll talk about that a little later, et cetera, et cetera. So we talked about you have a diversity of things to do. Obviously, you make a lot of money from property taxes. Sales tax is probably bigger, isn't it?
I think sales tax was up to date. I can't remember. It was somewhere around 40 or it was close to about the same amount that we have. I wrote all my numbers
Let's
down.
talk about a big number here. Let's talk about a new number, a number that just has made it so easy to be in county government. And that's the fact that internet taxes now comprise $4 or $5 million a year. We never got that money in the old days. So how do you get that money? How's that work? I buy, let's use an example. I buy 2 porch chairs, and it's $800, and I pay $72 in tax or whatever it is. How do you get that $72? Who sends that? I buy those.
The state. It comes from the state.
Okay.
The state handles all of our sales tax,
So
and then I receive
all of it, or just
I receive all of the sales tax from the state, and then we divvy it out to the schools and the cities and the county and things like that.
And that's based on an educational formula, right?
50% of that goes to the schools.
Divided by per pupil.
Yes, it is. It's divided out by the ADA, which
so
is the average daily attendance.
If I'm in downtown Oak Ridge and I buy it, does that money get to all the public schools, or does that money get just Oak Ridge?
It's
my residents matter.
Your city tax, depending on it, goes out to by your. The sales tax is done by your address as to where
I'm in Oak Ridge. I spend I buy a $5,000 item and I pay $400 in sales tax. It comes back, a certain amount that goes to property, to the county general fund for property tax. But 50%, we'll just make a number up, goes to schools. That's to go to education. Would that 50% go to divide up in all the schools, or would Oak Ridge get it based on my address?
When it comes in Anderson County sales tax, Clinton, all of that, and then you have a total. Our total as of March The last one that we just done was March 2025. It was 3.8 million was the total, but that is all that sales tax. That is Anderson County, Clinton, Rocky Top, Norris. Yes, Oak Ridge, Oliver Springs.
So you got that number broken down to how much Oak Ridge was?
Oak Ridge was 2.2.
That's over 50%.
Mm-hmm. Well, you take your total, and half of that it's divvied out to your cities. So Oak Ridge was 1.1.
Okay.
But 50% of that comes out and goes to your schools, and it is done by the ADA. So it's broken down, and it tells us how much we have to send to each school and to each city.
If you collected $3.8 million in that month,
yes.
How much of that total tax, I don't care where it goes, how would you break down the areas within the county that contributed that $3.8 million? In other words, did Oak Ridge, how much sales tax do they pay compared to Clinton, that kind of thing?
It comes in from the state. They tell us.
What they tell you?
What is
Oak Ridge half the sales tax in this county? That's what I want to know.
Oak Ridge is more than half.
Our
total was 3.8 million.
That's right.
Oak Ridge was 2.2.
There you go, folks. Good job, Oak Ridge. Okay.
But
that goes back fairly to each school, so that's not a problem.
It is divvied back out to the schools.
That's a good thing.
And to the appropriate cities.
How much of the sales tax goes to the county?
Now, part of that 2.2 goes back to the schools. So Oak Ridge City as a government,
it's 2.
1.1.
I got it. And that's non-school.
That's non-school.
So the city of Oak Ridge is getting about $1 million a month, roughly, for city operations, general fund operations.
I don't know how they break theirs down. Or what they do. Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of work in being a trustee in there. You got to get
absolutely.
That's it. That's where it's at.
But it goes back to we divvy it back to the cities and to the county, and also to the schools, to the appropriate schools, and it's done by average daily attendance as to which school gets what.
It's a school thing. Do you know when ADA is measured? Would they do it in May and fall, twice a year, once a year?
They do it once a year.
Okay.
And
near the end of
we just got the new numbers, so
that's okay. That's not a direct thing. That's okay. You have to have it to divvy the money out, but I get that.
Yes.
Do you have one person in your office that handles all that? Is in charge of that part?
I do. My chief deputy. My chief deputy takes her and my assistant chief both. But my chief deputy is the one that usually only handles the sales tax and divvying it back out, because it's a formula and it's tricky, and
experience helps.
Yes, and we got to make sure that it gets done correctly.
And you have checks and balances and all that.
Absolutely. We have a trustee has lots of checks and balances. We have all kinds of reports that we have to run that are not only checked by us daily, but are also checked by our auditors.
Do you have any numbers on internet tax? How much we're making from internet tax? That's okay.
I don't have that one.
We're cutting into different little things. Okay, so we have some big taxpayers in Anderson County. We talked about that, and you have a list of the top 10. We'll take a break, and when you come back, that'll give you 3 minutes to pick those top 10, and we'll look at them and see some of them. It's all public record, nothing secret about that.
Oh, no.
So, the 10th place is paying $200,000, and the number one taxpayer, is paying $1 million a year. So there you go. That's how it works. So anyway, we will come back. Jan will take us to another break.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
Fan Gear Barn is Oak Ridge's source for new and vintage sports fan gear from around the world of sports. Find your favorite team gear at Fan Gear Barn, located at 977 Oak Ridge Turnpike, across from the hospital. Open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Closed on Sundays.
Every woman deserves compassionate, quality care, no matter her income. The free medical clinic provides free, comprehensive women's health, including mammograms, annual physicals, and pap smears, and includes an entire suite of primary and preventative care services, all at no charge. The free medical clinic is providing peace of mind to the women who make our homes and businesses work. We keep you healthy. Go to fmcor.org. Because every woman deserves peace of mind knowing she has the medical care she needs, even if she can't afford it. FMCOR.org.
Prescription drug misuse is a prevalent and potentially fatal problem. When people do not properly monitor, store, and dispose their medications, it can create an opportunity for misuse. Count it. Make it a goal to count your pills once every 2 weeks. Like it. Secure your medications at home. Drop it. Drop off unused or expired medications for proper disposal at any police department in Anderson County. For more info, visit asapofanderson.org. Brought to you by ASAP of Anderson. Prevention works.
At Navarro, we partner with our clients to advance clean energy and deliver effective solutions for complex challenges in the nuclear and environmental fields.
Feeling overwhelmed with your business finances? At P&L Business Services, we handle all your bookkeeping, payroll, and tax needs. From federal tax returns to QuickBooks training, we've got you covered. With over 25 years of experience, we provide customized packages to fit your business. Focus on what you love most, building your business. Let us take care of the rest. Call 865-294-4792. P&L Business Services, empowering you to grow your business.
No matter what you're up against, we have your back.
We are United Way.
We are neighbors helping neighbors.
In communities around the world, when disaster strikes, we get you back on your feet.
We help children build brighter futures.
We've been here for over 135 years.
But now, our work is more important than ever. Join us.
Join your neighbors.
Join United Way.
Welcome back to our show here, Between the Lines, and it's Thursday. We figured out it's May 15th, didn't we? So it's
my father-in-law's birthday today.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm just trying not to count anymore, but it's okay. So I want to take a second to thank our sponsors, Navarro, Susanna Navarro, and Ryan Overton. Everybody works out at Navarro, one of the best cleanup companies and one of the best remediation companies in the country. IB3 Global Solutions with Sean Gleason, another Oak Ridge company, does a great job around the world. Unique skills and strategy. P&L Business, our accountants, Brad's accountants, everybody's accountants are located down in the Jackson Square area. You need to call them and get your business accounting done and tax accounting for individuals and everything. Energy Solutions, another global company that helps us out. They're great. We got good friends there. They do work in the commercial area and in the government area in nuclear cleanup and difference. And our newest sponsor coming up here, and we'll be seeing more next week, is Centrus. And they're part of the solution. We need uranium in this country. We can't build small modular reactors without them. Centrus is coming forth with new technology. They've invested and built, and they're located over where the old Boeing exit is down there behind there. They're located back in that area, and we're glad to have them on board too. All right, we were talking about top 10 companies that pay taxes between $200,000 and $1 million a year. So who's number one on that list?
Ison.
We all know automotive.
Yes.
In Eagle Bend, or are they in the other park? I can't remember which park they're in out there.
They are in across from the high school, closer to the
Okay, so they're in
interstate.
the Anderson County Park or whatever that's called. Okay, that's right, Ison. And basically, Ison's huge. They build. I'm pretty sure that. I'm pretty sure we got a couple commissioners that work out there, and a lot of people work out there.
They have a large area and quite a few employees. I'm not sure how many total they do have, but I know they're a big footprint out there. Oh
yeah, they are a big footprint, and we're glad to have them invest in this. They've been out there a while now, 15, 20 years, and we're in that generation from all the work they do, the land they do. Is it a big portion of land? Do we know how big it is?
I'm not sure
how much.
I've
been
been
out there
out
once with Senator Haggerty once, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many acres that they have out there, but I do know that it's a large
and the machinery's
area.
got to be off the charts, and it's a big project.
Yes.
And they build automotive parts, correct? Okay, yes. Fantastic. So who's number two?
The Oak Ridge Project. is number 2 at $889,000.
What is Oak Ridge Project? Is that a company?
I'm not exactly sure what all they do.
Okay, but it is an entity. Okay, it's not just Oak Ridge, it's an entity. That's what they call themselves. Okay, and how much do they pay?
That is,
And you think
they do
these
the
companies-
$889,000.
These companies make a big contribution to our community. You think about jobs, and they do that, and they do everything else, but the amount of tax that they pay, they may get TIFs in the beginning.
It is the Lawlerwood at Y12, the Oak Ridge Project LLC, care of Lawlerwood Y12.
Okay, and that's in our plans to do a lot for us.
Yeah, that's who that is. That's $889,000.
Anybody else you want to cite on there that helps our community?
Well, Hollingsworth
I could
Properties.
talk about Joe all day, all he's done. I mean, that man has been incredible.
SL, Eagle Bend. We have the Tennessee Rutgers, Methodist Medical,
Medical Center.
the
They've been in the
Windrock
top
Land
10
Company.
For 5 decades, yeah. Windrock, and think about that, folks. You got all this four-wheel, you got all this land. It's a huge portion of land, and this is just the Anderson County portion, right? I think they go over into Roan and Morgan.
I think they go over into Roan and Morgan both.
Yeah.
I know they definitely go over into Morgan.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they fall into Roan
Maybe not.
or
They
not, but I
come
know
across the
that
road
they.
by Morgan. So basically, think about how much land that is have to pay. How much do they pay a year?
The Windrock Company pays $260,000.
$260,000 just on the land they own up in the mountain areas. It provides that tourism, and I mean it's huge. I mean New River's been revived with it. So has other areas of Morgan County and Oliver Springs. It's incredible. If you drive up there, I don't ride four-wheelers, but my family does, and they say the trails are amazing. People come from all over the country.
I've not been all over them. I went some when I was 911.
I can see you working out there.
I went in more of a it wasn't a four-wheeler. It's more like a side-by-side.
I understand, but it's pretty impressive.
It is.
I mean, I know my wife is from Copeland, and they do a lot of riding up in that area next to it, and it's interesting how diverse the tourism attractions are here.
Well, they've got their campgrounds there, and they've got some individual, some private-owned campgrounds.
Yeah.
Oliver Springs, I think, owns the campground down there, so they've got a lot going on down on the Windrock area.
Wow. Okay, let's go with. We got top 10. The top 10 altogether pay what? We
Oh, I didn't have that. I don't. Let's see. Let me tell you what that.
Yeah, we're looking at over $5 million a year in taxes from 10 people. 10 people.
10 companies.
Let's talk about reappraisals. We got to deal with it. So we talked to Johnny, and I told him on the show, John Alley, and we talked about the impacts, and he explained it, and I almost felt like a Ross Perot. I need to come on 15 minutes and draw all the lines on a different show. But the bottom line is that people don't clearly understand. And I'm going to say it one more time. Your taxes on your house are appraised at $200,000. They come back out, and now they're $400,000. So you've doubled the value of your home. Okay, which is a good thing, folks. So you have the value of your home. Someday you're going to sell it or refinance it, and you need that money. So $400,000 is the value. People say, oh, gosh, my taxes are going to double. No, they're not. They're going to take an average of how many people. Some went from 2 to 260 maybe in Lake City. Some went from maybe even flat a few places. But in average, it's going to be a raise, say, from 200, let's just say to 350. Let's say that the average place went up 70%. But your home went up 80%. You're going to pay 10% more. Not 80% more, 10% more. The average home will pay how much and you may pay less if you're under the average. Whenever they do an assessment, you'll know. So you got to understand the process, and you can't pay anything this year. It's against the law. They have to set the tax. Now, commission could raise your taxes, but they're not going to do that. It's already done. So.
No, they haven't done it. They've not said it yet. The certified tax rate will come in June.
Well, let me rephrase
said.
That. They finished deliberating. They're ready to go.
Yeah. As soon as the certified tax rate comes in, then but I'm sure, I don't think any of our commissioners would go for
But when they get
tax.
the certified rate, we got $20+ million in the bank. The certified tax rate will be set when John gets those final numbers and they look at it and they figure out how much they got to drop it, right?
Yeah, the state tells him how much. They look at all of it and they tell him, they'll send him the number.
And they'll drop. John doesn't do it by himself. That's right.
No.
And they get that done. But the problem is, people bring the checks, a higher check amount to Regina. She got nothing to do with it.
I promise I have nothing to do with it. We are literally the banker. It is billed out, and we don't set the tax rate, and we don't set the reassessment. All we do we are the collection point.
And I'm sure there are a lot of people, seniors like myself, who've paid their homes off.
There is.
My relation's age. I haven't paid my home off. So the bottom line is that those people feel it more than a mortgage person would, because they see their payment monthly come out every month or whatever. But a person who has to write a bigger check, they feel it.
Mm-hmm. Well, some of them are saying that too, that just because of the housing market has shot up so much, they're seeing their insurance go up. So that if you have an escrow account, it could cause your payment to go up every month.
And my escrow account got adjusted, I think, 50-60% too.
Mm-hmm. We try real hard for our people that are, on fixed income or, are retired or whatever. We have it now to where that they can come in and make payments. So in January, you can start making payments on your property. Your tax is going to come out, your bill is going to come out in October, but I can go ahead and start taking payments on that in January. So and what we would do is we would estimate it. You would pay as according to what you paid last year. So say you paid $1,200 last year and you wanted to break it down and make it into 12 monthly payments, you could come in and pay $100 a month starting in January. Then by October, if your bill doesn't go up any, you're just going to owe $200 left or $300 left.
But even if it goes up, you'll have a portion of it paid.
You'll have a portion of it paid. And so when I took office, we done a resolution and went before county commission, because it's law that you have to do that, and got it set up to where that I could accept those early payments before October, the first Monday in October, which is by law what they allow, but you have to do a resolution and everything. So we got all that taken care of.
Let's talk about delinquency. So somebody dies, we have struggles, we own this house, we pay $1,500 in taxes a year. We get, and maybe $1,500 in Oak Ridge, you don't know what, you can't, and all of a sudden you're on fixed income. They can't make the payments. They end up defaulting on the payments. What is the process for you to turn them over or turn them in or report them to whoever?
They stay in my office for 18 months. So when you get
from the due date?
Yes, from the due date. They stay in my office for about 18 months. So when your bill comes out in October, say your bill came out in October 2024, this tax that we're in right now, it come out in, say, October 2024. I keep those until next March.
Yeah, March of 27.
I have to turn those over. I have to have it all done by law and turned over before April the 1st. So I usually start that process about mid-March, or sometimes I can push it as long as I can, just, to help people get in there and pay.
So you get a list of 30 homes. Where does that list go?
That has to be turned over and out of my system, and I turn that over to the clerk and master and to the delinquent tax attorney.
And that attorney's changed over time. That's not a set position. That's whoever is appointed by the chancellor?
Nope. It is appointed by by law. The trustee and the mayor have to appoint. The trustee appoints and the mayor has to agree.
And who is that person right now?
Right now, it's Phil Cry.
Doesn't get any better than Phil Cry. Let me go ahead and put my endorsement in right now. Phil is a professional.
He is, and
no politics. He just does his job well.
And he also does Clinton Cities, and he's done Clinton Cities for years. Yeah. So.
I like Phil.
Yes, so we appointed Phil when he took over, and he took over for 2018 taxes. And he's done an excellent job. He's very thorough. He owns a title company, so when it gets time to do the title searches, they do that. And he does not cost the county a dime.
Yeah.
So what happens is when your property gets turned over for delinquency, say your bill is $100, 10% is added on for the delinquent tax attorney. So there's 10% adds on top of that $100. And then there's also other court fees and things like that the clerk and master adds. There's summons fees. There's all kinds of different fees. But anyway, and then there's interest also that adds to that at the first of every month. So your delinquent tax attorney doesn't cost the county anything. It is tacked on top of that delinquent bill. And whoever that comes in and pays that, or whoever purchases that when it goes to sale, is actually responsible for paying that 10%. And if there has to be a title search done on it, I think that's $150. That's tacked on as well.
Let me tell you, I ran a campaign. I don't want to get into it. It's either DA or judge, and I had a lot of them, but it became an issue that, because there was a legal finding on this issue, that an appointed delinquent tax attorney was charging the county, you're going to know what I'm going to say for a second, charging the county for title searches he was not doing. In other words, they just attacked that fee onto everything that came through, and they were minimal or not proper searches. Obviously, you know me, I kind of pointed that out. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is, you've got to be careful. You've got to get honest, good
Phil
people.
Doesn't do that.
No, I know. Nobody in Anderson County has ever done it that I know of.
Yeah, Phil
The question comes down to, though, when you're outside of the loop, Phil's on the square. When you're outside of the loop, that's a potential thing. That's why you need Phil Christ, because you get people that are just getting appointed for political reasons. They're liable to do everything. And it does allow you to charge for that, but you need to complete the work. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's kind of where it's there's vulnerability there.
Well, and there's laws that you have to abide by.
That's right.
And they are very strict on what the trustee can do, and they're very strict on what the delinquent tax attorney, like they have to run an ad for so many weeks. They have to, I mean, there's
public notice.
Yes, there is so many things that they have to follow, and that's one of the reasons I like Phil, is because he is very thorough and he hits every one of those marks. And although I hate turning over. We send out delinquent notices before they leave my office. We make phone calls. We do everything we possibly can to collect that money before I have to turn it over because of those extra fees.
Sure.
That's another reason that we set it up to where that you could make those payments.
Do you notice the customers when they're behind? In that 18 months, do you make an effort?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Matter of fact, the 2024 delinquents, everybody that did not pay at the end of February, if you do not have property in with the courts already, then you got a notice saying, hey, you didn't, you missed your 2024 tax payment that was due at the end of February.
Email, or do you notice them by mail?
I notice them by mail. We print them out I usually print them on colored paper, and those just went out. And we've had a lot of people that has came in and paid off of those delinquent notices that they either just say that they didn't get it, the post office didn't deliver their first bill, or they misplaced it, or they just forgot, because you get it in October and you don't have to pay it till February, and life happens between October and February and people forget.
It's a good year to remember, because some lands are up now. You won't be impacted this year because they can't raise money, but
but I do want to say one other thing too. A lot of people think that just because they don't get their bill, if they don't make that payment, they're going to have to pay, by law, they have to pay interest March 1st. I don't get to decide who gets to do that.
Sure. You got from October until March to make that payment.
October to the end of February. And it is not a requirement of the county to send out a bill. State law says that it is the property owner's responsibility to know they owe that property tax, and you can't say, well, I didn't get a bill, so I shouldn't be charged this interest.
They should have the luxury of good customer service from the trustee. Pick the phone up if you don't know what it is, and just ask them. Say, how much do I owe?
Mm-hmm. And you can pay on our website. We have a website as well. You can pay over the phone. You can mail a bill in. I've got a drive-through that you can pay. We've tried to make it as convenient as we possibly can.
What is that website?
It's AndersonCountyTrustee.com. www.
Chandler, see if you can get that up in the last few minutes. Anderson County Trustees. AC or Anderson County?
Anderson County.
Spelled out, AndersonCountyTrustee.com. That's simple enough. We ought to be able to do that.
And also on their bill, I've started putting the URL code, so you can actually scan that with your phone, and it'll take you right to my website.
You've lost a lot of us right there. I try to pay
the code. There's a code right on your bill, and you can scan that. Here, I brought this one. It's that little code right. That you can scan that with your phone, and it will take you straight to my Anderson County Trustee website.
Folks, we're going to a demo. Let's see. Okay, here's my phone. Go scan that thing. Show me how it works. Now my phone it might not be your fault, but.
And it will pull, once you scan that, it's going to pull AndersonCountyTrustee.com up. You hit it, and it's going to pull my website up right there, and then you can go straight to make a payment.
There it is, folks. She did it.
You can pay it with an e-check.
Look whose picture's on that website. Hard to believe, isn't it?
You can pay with an e-check, or you can pay with a credit card. E-check is actually cheaper. The fees on those are cheaper than the credit card fee.
It's like a debit card,
yeah.
E-check's like
and
a debit card.
Us being government, we can't eat that those fees. So you have to pay that convenience fee.
I got it. Let's take a break, Chandler. We'll come back and finish it up. Thank you for putting that up. Leave that up when we come back.
At Navarro, we partner with our clients to advance clean energy and deliver effective solutions for complex challenges in the nuclear and environmental fields.
Feeling overwhelmed with your business finances? At P&L Business Services, we handle all your bookkeeping, payroll, and tax needs. From federal tax returns to QuickBooks training, we've got you covered. With over 25 years of experience, we provide customized packages to fit your business. Focus on what you love most, building your business. Let us take care of the rest. Call 865-294-4792. P&L Business Services, empowering you to grow your business.
Prescription drug misuse is a prevalent and potentially fatal problem. When people do not properly monitor, store, and dispose their medications, it can create an opportunity for misuse. Count it. Make it a goal to count your pills once every 2 weeks. Like it. Secure your medications at home. Drop it. Drop off unused or expired medications for proper disposal at any police department in Anderson County. For more info, visit asapofanderson.org. Brought to you by ASAP of Anderson. Prevention works.
Over 14,000 neighbors live in fear of becoming sick or injured and having to make a choice between putting food on the table or seeking medical care. The free medical clinic tries to take that fear away.
Bringing the healthcare, primary care out to our rural communities. I've had patients tell me that if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't be able to have any kind of health care. So us being able to go into these areas and provide that on-site care to these patients that can also come back week to week if they need for follow-up primary care, it is life-changing. It means a world of difference between actually life and death for them.
If anyone knows the joy of rescuing animals, it's me. Just ask my rescues, who are all very important members of my family. Your life can also be forever changed by adopting a shelter pet. And it's not just about the happiness your pet gets from finding a loving home, but that which you'll get from bringing them into your life. The heroes at American Humane have been helping animals for more than 140 years. You can learn more at AmericanHumane.org.
Fan Gear Barn is Oak Ridge's source for new and vintage sports fan gear from around the world of sports. Find your favorite team gear at Fan Gear Barn, located at 977 Oak Ridge Turnpike, across from the hospital. Open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. Closed on Sundays.
From Oak Ridge, Tennessee, IB3 Global Solutions conducts operations around the world to enhance the U.S. national security posture and minimize radiological and nuclear threats. IB3 Global Solutions. Mission first.
Welcome back to Between the Lines. We're talking to Regina Copeland, Anderson County Trustee. We got about 6 minutes left of airtime in the program. We're going to let her cover kind of a lightning round of some things she wants to talk about. Go. About, what did you say you had? Interest money.
Yeah, we have...
100 million.
We were talking about we invested the county's money. So this year, as of April, we have made in bank interest a little over $1.5 $5 million that has went back into the county just off of interest on money that we've invested.
What type of places do you invest your money?
We have some in
banks?
we have some in our local banks, in some CDs, and we also have some in the LGIP, which is it's a collateral pool, the local government investment pool.
The state.
I try real hard to make sure that we keep our money in banks that are covered in the bank collateral pool, so you don't have to go outside that and get collateralization and things.
So what that means, folks, is if every county's putting money in and needs collateral for certain things and interest rates, the state covers them by making a collective of all of those different counties. So you want to be in there, but they'll go through and approve those sources for the counties. You get a list, right?
The bank collateral pool is done.
But if I'm John Jones Bank or Billy Idle Bank.
Not all of them belong to the Tennessee Collateral Pool.
Because you have to meet certain requirements. That's right. So $1.5 million in interest generated by her good investments goes right back to the taxpayers. That's great. What else you got?
I did want to talk a little bit about our tax freeze and tax relief program. It's another program that the trustee's office does, and
seniors?
We try to get out. It is for seniors. It's also for disabled, and it's also for our disabled veterans.
Yeah, good.
So it is something we try to talk a whole lot about. We've been, at the fair and different places just trying to hand flyers out just to make people aware of it.
Well, you're going to get another chance in 2 months.
Yeah.
The fair is back.
Yeah, the tax freeze program, this year we just got the new numbers in. They are income-based, age and income-based. And, of course, for the disabled veterans, it is determined if you are permanent and total disabled through the VA is, how they look at that. But the income limit for 65 and older is $52,590 is for our tax freeze.
Individual
now,
or family?
That is it's you and your spouse.
Okay.
So you have to be 65 or older, and you have to meet or come under the $52,590.
I got you.
And then if you do, we also contract with Oak Ridge City. We do theirs tax freeze and tax relief program for the city taxes. We do it we do it for all of the cities except for Oliver Springs City and the county. So that's your tax freeze program. The tax relief program for our disabled or elderly homeowner, those are 65, for the 65 or older, $37,530, and the disabled homeowner, there's not an age limit on it, and then we also have the veterans. So if you think you qualify, call me.
What discounts do they get? What's the benefits?
The freeze, the year that we sign you up, you are frozen from that time forward as long as you reapply every year.
And own that house.
We do not know the numbers yet on the relief.
So this protects you from increases, basically.
Is unless you add on to your home or add a building or something like that. But if it stays the same, your property stays the same, it freezes you as long as you come back and requalify every year. And then the relief, we're not sure on the numbers yet. This past year, I think it was $126 that the state paid towards your taxes. We will see that increase this year, I believe, because of the reassessment. Because those numbers follow the reassessment and the assessment value and the ratio of the. Yes, it is. So we try real hard to make sure that we let everybody know about that.
Okay, you got 1 minute, about a minute and a half. You got anything else you want to talk about, or are we just going to talk about next year?
Next year
is
a great thing.
That's probably a good thing, but we never got to Knoxville.
We do a lot of things. Our door is always open. If you want to come in and chat or you have a question about anything, please give me a call. Serving Anderson County and serving the people of Anderson County, I love it. I can't. I'm a people person. I laugh and say that I talk too much in school, but the Lord was preparing me for this job, I guess. But you
see the website on the TV, folks.
Yes.
On your phone or TV, and you go to there and you can get more information on all these.
And we have 3 locations too. We have the Oak Ridge, Emory Valley location, the Norris Andersonville location, and the courthouse location.
Drive-through available at
both of them, the Jolly Building and my Oak Ridge location.
I remember the Jolly Building. That was fairly controversial.
Yes, I had 2 drive-throughs. So and if you can't make it in and you call and say, Regina, I need to come to the courthouse, if you'll holler at us, I've got staff or myself will run out and get it out of your window.
And
we try to do our best to make it sell.
He said this when he was on. You and Jeff Cole work well together.
We work very well together. Actually, we have some employees that are cross-trained, and he helps me in a pinch, and I help him in a pinch.
I'll drop through the window for either one.
Yes, and that way we don't. It saves us from having to hire additional part-time help.
I appreciate you coming on. I think there's.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm glad. We're going to catch it. She'll be up for election next year. She's doing a great job. Hopefully, we won't have an opponent, but that's the way it works. Appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.